So thanks to my friend Jeremy, I was able to catch Jordan Peele's Nope at an early screening. So huge shout out to Jeremy for giving me one of his extra tickets to this early screening, therefore getting this review early out for you guys. I've never done a review this early, so it really means a lot to me that he gave me this opportunity. Especially considering the fact that a lot of people are truly hyped about this film. I mean, Jordan Peele has a very passionate fan base, and even myself, after watching the trailer, I thought this film had a lot of potential. As you can tell by the title, I thought this film was pretty damn great. And yes, I'd go as far to say that this is Jordan Peele's finest work to date. And I'm not sure if that's going to be a popular take, or if most people are going to find that take to be embarrassing. I'm not sure because it's so early on. And I do understand that a lot of people just absolutely adore Get Out. But one thing that I've noticed about Jordan Peele after now watching his third film is that his direction and eye for the camera is just gradually improving with every single film. And even though I wouldn't say that Us is a better film than Get Out, I can definitely say that I believe the direction and cinematography in Us was an improvement from Get Out. And now I can say with even more confidence that that is also the same with Nope. I mean, granted, for Nope, he did have Hoyt van Hoytema as his DP, and, he's known for works like Interstellar and Ad Astra and Let the Right One In, and all those films are beautifully shot. But you can definitely tell that Jordan Peele is getting a lot better with aesthetic presentation, because just in terms of the way that the camera moves throughout the film and just the placement of the camera throughout the film, it plays a gigantic part as to why the suspense building in this film is the best I've seen compared to any of his films. And it also delivers the most terrifying material that we've seen from Jordan Peele yet. There's a few scenes in this film that are really effective in that regard. One of those moments involves the climactic scene from Steven Yeun, who, by the way, Steven Yeun is great in this film. And in that climactic scene, basically transitioning into the third act of the film, that scene is really intense for a number of reasons, but I think mostly it's because of his claustrophobic use of the camera. And it was also really unsettling because of Jordan Peele's ability to kind of capitalize on our fear of the unknown. But there's another scene in this film involving a chimpanzee, and that scene was really intense. I won't even say that it's a flawless scene, but overall the scene is incredibly effective and is some of the most unsettling stuff that I've seen in a film all year. And another reason why I think that scene is so great is because it actually concludes on a pretty impactful and also heartbreaking character moment. And it's actually expressed to the audience through visual storytelling. And that's another element of this film as to why I appreciated it so much. Because again, compared to his previous films, I think his ability to convey information through visual storytelling was really impressive in this film. I mean, even in the first act and the second act and even some of the third act, there's a lot of different emotions and a lot of different pieces of information that are relayed to the audience through visual storytelling. Of course, when it's nearing the third act and when we get to some aspects of the third act in general, you have characters that are trying to explain certain things that they discovered. In that regard, it's not fully visual storytelling, but even in regards to how Jordan Peele was relaying information verbally, even then I felt like he was being really delicate with how certain pieces of dialogue are written, so that way it feels a bit more natural. And I also thought the comedy in this film worked incredibly well. There's a lot of segments that are obviously just dedicated to humor. I mean, it's Jordan Peele, he has to have humor in his films. And it's all pretty much effective. Like, there's not really much attempts at humor that didn't work. But I will say that the third act of this film was my least favorite act. I don't think it's bad. I still think it's a solid third act and overall pretty satisfying. But I just know that the third act of this film is going to be the divisive aspect of this film. And I also have to admit that I'm also a bit conflicted in regards to the third act resolution of this film, because even though, like, from a thematic and symbolic standpoint, I actually really respect it, because it utilizes a piece of thematic symbolism that's established in the first act that's, again, pretty integral to the narrative in general, but it reinforces that in a way in the ending of this film. And even though from a writing standpoint I really respect it and I think it's creative, at the same time, is it kind of silly? Yeah, it is kind of silly, and Logically, does it really make any sense? Probably not. And it's probably one of the bigger criticisms that I do have of the film, which is the fact that conceptually, I think it's interesting, but I think that it's a bit too nonsensical in a way, at least in my opinion, because, thematically, I do understand what he's going for, and I do think it's thought-provoking, but at the same time, it just feels so out of the realm of logic that it's kind of hard to take it as seriously as perhaps a film wants you to. And I guess another criticism that I did have with this film, even though this one's definitely a lot smaller, is this one moment where the musical score was utilized. And it's a moment where Keke Palmer is basically recalling a past event in regards to her brother and her father. And the way that the score kind of comes in, it felt like it was just, trying too hard to be emotional. But even with those criticisms, I obviously was very impressed by this film. I thought it was both entertaining, but also really intense and suspenseful. So I'm going to give Jordan Peele's Nope a soft 8 out of 10. I wear my sunglasses at night. Yeah, I just think from a screenwriting standpoint, a directing standpoint, a cinematography standpoint, I mean, pretty much every element of filmmaking involved in this film, I think is better than anything else that he's done. And it's not to say anything else that he's done is even bad, but this is definitely his most ambitious film, and I think he did an excellent job trying to bring that ambition to fruition. But anyways, that's all I gotta say about Nope. If you really enjoyed what I had to say about the film, please give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.